What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Ecommerce Growth Map Podcast here with Lion Media. And I'm your host, Frank Kenny, Head of Growth and CEO of Lion Media. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, as it's literally just around the corner. And particularly within that, we're going to talk about landing pages, what type of landing page we're testing with our clients. We're going to talk about as well as the Google Ads, how to structure Google Ads campaign. And if you missed the previous episode that we dropped, we talked specifically about Meta, offers on Meta, what type of offers you should be running, the time frame of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and things within that scope. So if you missed that episode, go check that out. But in today's episode, we're going to focus a little more on Google in terms of how do you structure the account. We're also going to look at landing pages, which I know we didn't cover in the last episode of the podcast, which again, this focuses clearly on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So let's jump into it. And just to add, I'm going to show you my screen. I have my laptop over here. I'm going to show you some of the landing pages that we structure and we build for clients. And so I'm going to go into the screen and kind of show you guys what that looks like, right? You can use it as ideas that you guys can run for your own accounts. But let's get started. So specifically on Google, and if you understand like the nature of Google is more of a platform that captures the demand that's already created from there. Because people will go on Google for what? Because they have a burning desire to solve a specific problem. And when they type in the keywords, if you have ads that appear right when they're searching for those specific problems using keywords, obviously then you capture that demand and then you convert them as a customer, right? So we're going to talk a lot more about that in terms of like what type of account structure did you want to have with Google within like the shopping campaign, because obviously the main purpose of this podcast is mainly like direct to consumer and e-commerce, right? So within Google, the main thing, similar to Meta, it's this hyper machine algorithmic, can't pronounce the word, that is just like very intelligent, right? And with all AI stuff, there is a learning process that occurs in it, right? It needs to learn the goal that you want for it to deliver it to you, right? And so for it to learn, you need to obviously spend some advertising dollar so it can capture data and learn from that data, right? And after it having to learn what it is that you're optimizing for, what the outcome that you want, then it can give you more of that for lower costs and obviously more efficiently, right? And so when thinking about that, having that in mind, you want to make sure that during the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, specifically the week before, you need to already make sure that you have the campaigns ready and it's already optimized, meaning that you have at least tested, early Black Friday, Cyber Monday offers, right? Because consumers are already shopping right now, right? So you should be running early Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, right? And you can run that on Google. And specifically how we're structuring this for our clients is we have one campaign specifically for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? And within that campaign, we may have like multiple like ad group. And when I say campaign, we have specifically PMAX, Performance Max essentially, right? So we have one PMAX campaign, and within that PMAX campaign, we have an ad group focusing on the early Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. And so like the assets and the videos within that PMAX campaign or within that asset group is going to be focusing on early Black Friday sales, discount, code, and just messaging. And that's the whole purpose of it, right? So like the headlines, the description, the videos, right? The YouTube videos, the shorts, right? In addition to the creative that goes in there, it's all going to be focused on early Black Friday, Cyber Monday, sales, right? Now, in terms of the landing page, right? Where should you be sending traffic to? And I think that a lot of the issue that happens is that brands, when they're driving traffic, they drive traffic to like the home website, right? I think we know by now that a website, the home of the website doesn't convert as well as if you were to drive traffic to a specific either catalog page or a specific product page, or as something that we've been testing a lot at the agency here is listicle, editorial, and sales page. And I'll share a little bit about what that is, and I'll show you some example of what that is, because it converts significantly better than just sending traffic to a regular homepage or to a regular catalog page or just to a product display page. So you have your PMAX campaign set in place, right? You have now in terms of like the bidding strategy, you can set max conversion, you can set max conversion value, you can set a target ROAS, or you can set a target CPA, right? And we specifically just like to focus on, obviously because this is e-commerce and there's a dollar value associated with each conversion, we use target return on ad spend, because with each campaign, there's an outcome that we want. With we have a spend and there's an expected outcome of a return on ad spend that we need, right? And so we set what that target is. If that's a 200%, if that's a 300%, if that's a 400%, it's going to be different for every brand, but we want to make sure that we set that, right? And if you're not achieving that, obviously, it just means that, okay, one, the campaign may not have enough data to be able to achieve that outcome, or maybe just like the creative, or maybe just like the offer where you're sending traffic to, it's just not working. Okay, so you have your PMAX campaign running, you have it active, you have you have the audience signals set into place. You have like the theme set into place, which is specifically just going to be like keywords that the system can use to kind of further target who your customer are. Because obviously with PMAX, as you guys may know, if you don't know, it doesn't use keywords. It's mainly just using audience signals, the audience that you provided, right? So this is a form of a data that you provide the system so it can find more of your customers. So we use audience theme, right? Again, which can be keywords that you add. It's not the keyword targeting, but it just uses that as audience signal again. And obviously, you also have the audience in which you can also add on top of it for signals. So that's kind of like the basic setup what we have for Performance Max. And so after the early Black Friday, Cyber Monday is over, and we've already started running this for a lot of our accounts. So some accounts we're starting this on the 10th, running it all the way till the 15th. Some have already started it. And so if we're running this all the way to the 25th, sorry, not the 15th, to the 25th of November, then obviously, once that sale is over, we're going to pause that PMAX asset group, and then we're going to launch a new one. The new one is going to be specifically focused on the actual Black Friday sale, which with some clients, we're doing up to like 40% off. And I'm going to let you guys kind of discuss how you guys want to roll that out. But a lot of it is going to be based upon like profitability, first order profit, and essentially just kind of like looking at your business and okay, cool, does it make sense for us to run this offer? And so it doesn't like take too much, like doesn't cut too much into our margins, right? So you guys kind of have to figure that out. But again, so like the strategy is like a cool one asset group from PMAX that's going to be focused on the early Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. And then the next asset group is going to be focused on the actual Black Friday sale, right? And if you want, you can also have a separate asset group that's going to focus on Cyber Monday as well, right? So we segment this per asset group and not necessarily per campaign, because just that one campaign, that PMAX campaign, it can have multiple asset groups. And then we have one asset group for early Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. The other asset group is going to be for actual Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. And then the other one can be just for Cyber Monday, right? And why this is important, because we need to have it separated, because each one of them is going to have a separate messaging associated with that. Again, each asset group is going to have a special messaging associated with that, right? And so that's why we have it separate. And you also just need to have enough budget to be able to run this, right? And so essentially that's how you would set up PMAX. Now, the other thing too we're testing very aggressively this year is doing video ads, right? Because in the past, specifically within like periods like this, video ads, if you don't have good videos, then they may not necessarily convert. When I say video, I'm talking about like YouTube or demand gen, specifically more demand gen, because if you create a YouTube conversion campaign now, it's going to be transferred into a demand gen, or it's going to be converted into a demand gen. So when we're running demand gen campaign, right, in terms of the format for this, right, this is very important. If you just run a generic video on demand gen or YouTube Shorts, it may not work. Like you may not get the conversion, right? So the video format has to be very specific in the sense that you're really pushing on like the text of the sale that you're running. Like you want that prominent front and center of the video itself, and it just needs to be so like very big and bold so that people can see it, right? Because if people can't really capture or see what it is that the video is within like the first couple of seconds, then people are not going to click on it, right? And so something again that we're pushing heavily is like within the video itself for the demand gen 9:16, we need to be pushing the sales. So that means in big titles, in big font, we have early Black Friday Monday sales, or early Black Friday Monday sales, or Black Friday Cyber Monday sales. So like it just needs to be big so people can see it. And so obviously people can see it. Click on that call to action and then go to your website. The next thing that I want to go into here now is a specific landing page is that we're testing, not specifically testing, like we've seen this work, and this is just what we're doing right now with a lot of our clients for Black Friday Cyber Monday, right? And what I mean by testing is that some of the ads that we're going to be running are going to have this landing page, right? Some are not going to have this landing page in which we're sending traffic to, right? So again, I just want to show you what this looks like. And so what I mentioned before, what a listicle is. So a listicle is essentially a landing page that's kind of structured in the format of a blog, essentially, right? It's providing information that your products can read it. I mean, your customer can read it and then make a decision whether this makes sense for them to buy it or not, right? The whole point of it is supposed to inform the customer, the consumer, about the specific problem that your product solves. And so when you're able to do that, then towards like the end of the landing page, you have a specific offer for them, right? And so essentially, this is what that looks like, right? So this is for a brand this is one of the clients that we were testing this for. And so to kind of look at the structure, so boom, we have a big, bold headline over here, right? So this is a skincare brand. So we have a big, bold headline over there, right? Kind of asking a question. And then we'll actually kind of scroll down onto it. It kind of presents you with 6 signs your skin is asking for a reset, right? So again, the point of this, like, it's supposed to capture your attention and make you want to read it to kind of find out more about what's presented within the specific landing page or within the specific listicle, right? And as you scroll down, you can kind of see what it's for. You can see like, okay, here's all the information that is provided that this product contains, right? Big and bold, so you can actually see it. It's not hidden. And then you can kind of see some testimonials on there of customers who have used the specific product, right? So this is what a listicle is, and this is something that we're testing across like a lot of different brands. So this is just one of the brands that we're doing it for right now. And then here's another one as well. This is for a different brand. So this is also a form of a listicle. And so this is what that looks like. And so, and another thing that we'll do in the podcast description, we'll have the links to this so you guys can look at it just to kind of get an idea of, maybe you guys can test this for your own landing page, or maybe you guys can test it for your own brand. So this is what that looks like. And then we have one more over here, which we're also testing. It's actually this one over here. Here's another one that we're also testing for one of our brands. Again, this is just the same brand, Pip Wellness. And this is what that looks like. Awesome. Guys, so that's essentially, guys, everything that we wanted to cover on today's podcast episode. Guys, like if you have any questions, drop them down in the description, and then we'll get back to you. Catch you guys in the next episode.